It's hard to believe, but the Nintendo Switch 2 has already been out for a year, which is absolutely mind-blowing. It feels like it was just yesterday when people were complaining about the price and spreading blatant misinformation online. Yeah, I'll admit that this has been a rockier start, especially when compared to Switch 1. But anyway, I thought I'd take a look back at everything related to the Mario franchise that released on Switch 2 in its first year on the market. And if you all enjoy this video, I'll probably make this a yearly thing. I mean, that's one less video for me to come up with every year. This isn't going to be super in-depth reviews of any of the games talked about, just my brief thoughts and blatant plugs for the full video reviews that I did end up making for them, if they exist. Just a brief overview of everything. Starting on June 5th, the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2 and the first new Mario Kart game in over a decade, Mario Kart World. This game garnered a lot of criticism, some being incredibly valid, mainly the $80 price tag. I won't spend too long on this since I feel like we all get how absurd the price is. That is just too expensive for this game. It is not worth that much at all in my opinion. Now the $50 it costs in the bundle, rest in peace, it's absolutely worth that in my opinion. I am a huge fan of this game in every aspect except for the price. I think the tracks are excellent, the controls are smooth, the visuals are great, and the music is outstanding. So many remixes from not only Mario Kart's history, but the Mario series as a whole. This soundtrack was a better celebration for the franchise's 40th anniversary than anything they actually marketed as part of it. Oh, and go watch my full review of the game as part of last year's Christmas special. There's timestamps in that video's description, so you don't have to watch like an hour and a half to get to it, although I'd really appreciate if you did, just saying. Anyway, the original Super Mario Bros. Was featured as part of the critically acclaimed Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour as a way to showcase 4K visuals. Unfortunately, you do need a 4K TV to do it, and I don't have one. Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. Yes, I bought it. Yes, I'm one of the worst people ever. Yes, I'm one of the worst people ever. Put me up there right next to Nobuhain and whoever decided to add that thing on the bottom left of the screen whenever you skip an ad on YouTube. I think it's a fine little game, but I believe the way they marketed it really murdered any chance it had at being received well at all. If it was positioned as a Switch 2 equivalent of Wii Play, which is honestly what it kind of feels like, then I don't think it would have nearly gotten as much hate. But no, they made it seem like it was the console's manual that you had to pay for, which it kind of is. It should have been free either way, but I don't think it's that bad. My main problem is that several of the minigames require additional accessories, so you can't truly 100% the game unless you have stuff like the camera that everybody already forgot about or the Pro Controller. Guess what two things I don't have? This game should have been fully focused on the Joy-Con 2's mouse controls and nothing more. If they wanted you to use the new accessories, why not bundle in the game with the camera or something? You know, anything to add value to this thing. It's like a 5 out of 10, but hey, I did only spend like $8 on it because I had some My Nintendo Gold points. Rest in peace to those too. Alongside those games, we also got Nintendo GameCube games on Switch Online, finally. However, it wasn't until July 3rd when we got our first Mario release, being Super Mario Strikers. That's a weird choice for the first one. I don't have the expansion pack, nor have I played Mario Strikers, so I've got absolutely nothing to add here. Also in July on the 17th, we got Donkey Kong Bonanza, which I have not beaten yet. Yeah, I rolled credits on Welcome Tour, but I've only played like an hour of what is widely considered to be the console's best game. Again, I'm just the absolute worst. I plan on getting back to it at some point and making a review or something, but I don't know. I'll get to it one day, I swear. I do have an idea of making a ton of 3D Mario videos leading up to the new one, hopefully next year, so maybe I'll squeeze a Bananza review in there somewhere. Anyway, a week later we got the first Mario Switch 2 Edition game. Super Mario Party Jamboree Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Jamboree TV. These titles are horrible. Anyway, I have yet to purchase this one. I plan on getting it at some point. I mean, I kind of have to for my Nintendo Cube Mario Party series, but I've just skipped on it for now. I do have the base Nintendo Switch game and I like it, but I just haven't pulled the trigger on the $20 upgrade. And I'm seemingly not missing out on too much since the new content isn't great from what I've heard. Again, I'll get to it eventually, probably before I get to Donkey Kong Bonanza. On the 27th, Mario Paint was finally re-released on the SNES Nintendo Classic service. Never got the chance to play this game before, so I was really glad it was added. I mean, I get why they never bothered before, since there really wasn't a way to play it because of its use of the SNES mouse. But with the Switch 2's mouse controls, that's no longer a problem. But they just let you plug in a USB mouse on Switch 1, so it was never really an issue to begin with anyway. Mario Paint is just okay in my opinion. It's kind of fun to try to draw on this thing, but I'm not very artistically skilled, so I just end up drawing squiggles and closing the game. In October, we were just blessed with Super Mario Galaxy plus Super Mario Galaxy 2. While this is a Switch 1 game, it did receive some minor enhancements on Switch 2 from what I've heard. As if I'd know, I didn't buy this garbage. $70 for this is genuinely insulting. It makes Mario Kart World feel like Nintendo's being charitable. I didn't buy it and I have absolutely zero plans to. From a major retailer anyway. I might get it used one day, but it is very, very low on my list of priorities. Let me stop right there because I totally forgot to mention something earlier. On launch, several Nintendo Switch 1 games got free minor enhancements on the Switch 2. The Mario games in that lineup were Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario 3D World, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, and New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe for some ungodly reason. Plus, the aforementioned Galaxy games were updated at their release like I mentioned. These updates were never anything crazy, just increasing the resolution and performance, as well as adding stuff like game share when applicable like Super Mario 3D World. Oh, and if you're enjoying the video so far, please consider subscribing and giving the video a like. I'm trying to hit 10,000 subscribers before the release of the next 3D Mario, which could be revealed later this month actually. Thanks, please. A week later, Mario & Wario was re-released for the first time via the SNES Nintendo Classics app. It's another mouse game. You play as this fairy thing and you have to help Mario not die because Wario put a bucket on his head. This game's premise is stupid. Why can't he just remove the bucket? It's not super glued to his head or anything and he can still move his arms. It's an okay little puzzle game though. I didn't really get too far into it. Played a few levels, but that was about it. On the 30th, Luigi's Mansion was added to the GameCube Online service. Luigi's Mansion is one of my favorite games of all time, so it's great to have the full original game portably for the first time ever. Yes, that exists, but it's basically a remake, not the original. It's a fine version, but I prefer the GameCube one. Anyway, Wario World was added to GameCube Nintendo Classics on December 10th. Again, I don't have an expansion pack and I've never played this game before, so I don't know anything to say. I mean, it's got Wario in it, so it's probably one of the greatest games of all time. On January 20th, a fairly large free update was released for Donkey Kong Country Returns HD for some reason. It added Dixie Kong, a new turbo mode, as well as improvements when played on Switch 2. That is unbelievably odd, but sure, why not? On February 9th, Yoshi for Game Boy was added to the Nintendo Game Boy Switch Online library. Okay, I guess. I don't care. The next Mario Tennis game, Mario Tennis Fever, was released on February 12th. Listen, I like this game a lot more than I ever thought I would. It's my favorite Mario Tennis game, after all. Oh boy, it just had so much competition for that top spot. It's another instance of the game just being priced way too high in my opinion. Yes, $70 is the standard AAA game price now, unfortunately, but this is a Mario Tennis game. It's honestly just way too bad this released before Nintendo's new pricing strategy where digital games are $10 cheaper and some retailers match that price for the physical version. Again, I did make a full review for this, so go check that out if you want to. I'll have all my reviews and stuff linked in the pinned comment if I remember to do so, and if I don't, I give you permission to call me an idiot. Well, you can call me that if you want to, no matter what. I don't really care, it's the truth. Anyway, decent game, not worth $70. Get it on discount if you're interested and if you can find it on discount. Yes, you can get Nintendo stuff for cheaper than retail price. You just have to be patient and have a Costco membership. 3 games were released for Mario Day on Switch Online. Mario's Tennis and Mario Clash for the Virtual Boy, and Mario vs. Donkey Kong for the Game Boy Advance. Okay, we got Super Mario Bros. Wonder Nintendo Switch 2 Edition plus Meetup in Bella Bell Park. They have got to come up with a shorter name for these Switch 2 editions. I actually bought this one and had an alright time with it. I mean, the original Super Mario Bros. Wonder was already my favorite 2D Mario game, and this fixed basically all of my issues with the game, mainly the mediocre boss fights. These new Koopaling battles are some of the best bosses in 2D Mario history in my opinion. They're all so unique and interesting, and most importantly, they aren't basically the exact same as each other. Each one has a wildly different gimmick. The new wonder forms of the Koopalings almost all look really cool. And by almost, I mean basically everybody but Wendy and Iggy. Why do they look like that? Who thought that was a good idea? The new challenges they added are pretty fun too, with some of the later ones actually being fairly tricky. Still haven't gone through all of these though because I'm terrible at the game. I could not care any less about the multiplayer stuff though. I have yet to touch a single one of the minigames, and for that reason alone, since half of the DLC is just those minigames, I feel like I kinda got ripped off for the $20 price. But at the same time, it's my own fault for buying something that's 50% something I don't care about. It's like buying a loaf of bread and you can tell that half of it is completely molded and inedible, but you buy it anyway because this part looks fine and it actually ends up being some of the best bread you've ever had in your life. Also, it's Wonder Bread. Yoshi and the Mysterious Book released in late May. It exists, I guess. As of the time of writing, I haven't fully beaten the game yet, so it's kind of hard for me to form my entirely full opinion. Also, it should be the focus of one of my next videos, so stay tuned for that. Maybe, unless I give up halfway through like I'm known to do. But what I've played has actually been pretty decent. Not mind-blowingly good or mind-blowingly bad. Just pretty good. And finally, Donkey Kong 64 released on Nintendo Classics on June 4th, which if you write it in the American style is 6-4. Ah, Nintendo, you goofs, you're so funny. So that was the Switch 2's first year of Mario releases. It was fine. Let's compare it to the Switch 1's first year. I won't count any Nintendo Classics games just because Switch Online didn't have any games at that point on Switch 1, nor did you have to pay for it. Okay, I'm actually surprised Switch 2 had more stuff, but as the old saying goes, Nope, I about said it the wrong way. As the old saying goes, quality over quantity. Yeah, there were more games released on Switch 2, sure, but the Switch 1 had Super Mario Odyssey. It's pretty hard to top that since, that's like a game that I think is alright. It's like a solid, at least a 4 out of 10. Wait a second, I forgot to include Welcome Tour. I think it's obvious which year is better now. I forgot to include Hello Mario and Hello Yoshi. Please forgive me.